What is up, everybody? Welcome to Talk Wrestling here on NoDQ.com, here on the Jeff Meacham Network, here on the Custody Studios, here on the Greg Cherry brand. Thank you all for tuning in on this Tuesday night. First of all, I want to throw it out there to everybody. For those of you that missed the SummerSlam predictions earlier, please go check that out. It's on demand now on the NoDQ.com channel as well as Jeff Meacham Network. Our condolences go out to the entire family, Aaron and Caitlin's family. Caitlin's mother passed away last night, so we are definitely with them in our thoughts and in spirit. And here's to a healing and recovery process. And that's all I really can say at this point. We love you guys. everybody in the NoDQ Galaxy and all the fan support throughout the multiverse of Meacham, as we've jokingly called it. Thank you both, and we love you guys. So, all right. So what I'm gonna do today is a little bit different for Talk Wrestling. Usually, I kind of just throw shit out there and kind of see what sticks at the wall, right? But there's so much stuff going on that is so Vince McMahon centric that I wanted to talk about Vince today. And I know it's going to be kind of a different format, but if you guys want to ask me a different question, please do what we do on the panels, on the NoDQ review, especially and super chat, because that'll get my attention in the window quicker than most as far as other topics. But I do want to talk about Vince, Mr. McMahon, whatever you want to call him, because there's a lot going on. There's a lot to peel off the onion here. And the hits just keep on coming, it seems, for him and his future. And what I mean by that is, we were talking about it during the predictions. Yeah, Josh, exactly. This was brought up at the end of the SummerSlam predictions. Again, I was on NoDQ and on the Jeff Meacham Network as well. Check it out on demand. So basically, the report from Fightful Select, again, thank you to, I believe Cindy was one that posted it. Jerry Slaughter, Jerry SummerSlam, excuse me, saw it in the window. Basically, what happened? Well, first of all, let me go ahead and thank you, Muhammad. I appreciate that. Josh, I'm doing okay. It's just kind of is what it is. I cooked dinner, which is always an adventure. I made chicken parm that was grossly out of my mother's league, but it turned out pretty good. My dad seemed to enjoy it, and that's what I was hoping for. And again, I'll give Colin thoughts out to everybody at the family. Thank you, Colin. I appreciate that. I will do my best to have a good show. Don't know if he's going to court, Daniel, but let me go ahead and read the report here. It says Vince McMahon has lost stock in WWE. According to a new SEC filing, McMahon has disposed of 38,519 shares of WWE stock at $0. The filing states that the disposed of stock consists of a portion of unvested stock units previously reported in Table 1, which were forfeited by Mr. McMahon in connection with his retirement from the company effective July 22nd, 2022. Vince McMahon still owns 69,157 shares of stock, which excludes 100 shares of Class A common stock owned individually by Mr. McMahon's wife. Of course, it's Linda McMahon. Mr. McMahon disclaims beneficial ownership of those shares. He is still listed at 10% owner on the filing. Of course, Vince announced his retirement last week. Nick Khan, Stephanie McMahon are now the co-CEOs. Triple H is now director of creative. And again, it all goes back to the investigation by the WWE board over alleged hush money and sexual harassment allegations. So basically, what that means is I'm not sure about Linda as far as the controlling stock, Josh, but I will say this. We live in a world, all of us here in the NoDQ, the multiverse of Meacham, as again I jokingly called it earlier, where Vincent Kennedy McMahon, owns a minority share of the company that he purchased from his father and ultimately cultivated and created, if you will. That's bonkers to me that Vince McMahon is a minority owner in WWE. Yeah, and again, I'm not sure how it all breaks down as far as with Linda or with anybody else on the board or in the family, but the bottom line from that report on Fightful, that I understand it, and we're going to talk more about this in depth, I'm sure, on the NoDQ review on Thursday nights, and also on Open Mic Night Saturday following SummerSlam. We'll have our buddy Shane Wells in on Saturday night for Open Mic Night. So Shane, if you're watching, get the dirty details ready, because we're going to want to hear all about it after this all hashes out here coming up as the week goes on. So I want to talk about Vince, and I just wanted to. So let's see. Let me just. Basically, he's no longer a majority shareholder today with the revelation of yesterday. Fightful Select reporting how erratic, crazy Vince has been in creative meetings and back. And again, that's also reporting that many Triple H guys. And again, this. I need to try. I know that you're passing on information. I'm not faulting anybody in the chat room for doing that, because they have to go off of what they know, right? Or what they read from their sources or what they've been conditioned to read on No DQ, on Fightful, on whatever, on WrestleVotes, whatever the case may be. The bottom line is this: is that we know what we're allowed to know, right? With Vince, so it's very like I said at the end of the summer, it's a mad, mad world. We all just live in it, right? It's definitely a different thing. It's very strange to think of him not being in charge. And Ken, I'm not surprised about Shane one bit. As Josh says, they're very much not getting along. Shane is very much on the outside looking in as far as the family goes. And if rumor and innuendo to be believed, then Vince basically told everybody he's not going to be in a position of power as long as I have to say so. He doesn't at this point, but doesn't mean that Stephanie's going to roll right over and let Shane come back in, because apparently there was more drama there than we knew about, or we were led to read about, is what I should say. Again, we don't know anything. We really don't, and that's what I have tried so hard to. It's what I've had to fight against all these years. People just assume that because I have a website's a website's name attached to my background is that I just automatically assume that I know everything. I don't. I know nothing, not a thing. And again, the as far as speculation goes, as far as Shane's speaking terms, again, that's just what I've read. That's just what I have been passed down information wise. I don't know a damn thing. I just know what the people that say they know. So, but I did want to bring up Vince on tonight's show because as long as I've been alive, let alone a fan, Vince McMahon has been the guy. He's been the major factor in how this business's direction goes. Yes, Eric Bischoff did definitely steer a different way with when he assumed power in WCW and when he created the NWO and did Nitro and the Cruiserweights and everything. But for the majority, and a huge majority of the last 40 years, Vince McMahon has been the guy in professional wrestling, sports entertainment, wherever you want to call it. And it's very, very unusual for me to think about a world where that's no longer the case. I mean, when I started watching in 1990, you have to remember something, guys. I started watching when the Ultimate Warrior was the WWF champion, just before the 1990 Survivor Series. The first major thing that happened in the WWF when I started watching as a fan was the debut of The Undertaker. And I didn't even watch WCW until Hulk Hogan jumped over there. It's great, but when Hogan jumped, they were, the WWF was going through the big steroid trial, and we got to see a more the non-announcer guy out of Vince McMahon, as far as going to court, having the neck surgery, doing all that. It's so hard. I'm stuttering on my words, and I apologize. It's been a very long day, to say the very least, around the family and around the extended family here at No DQ. And again, the whole thing about Vincent K being the polar opposite of Vincent J, that is a matter of opinion and hearsay passed down through the last however many years now, since Vincent J. McMahon passed away 38 years ago, just a year before WrestleMania. And I don't know if that's the case, if they're complete polar opposites, if they are or not. And why is my door opening when I'm on the air?
You didn't tell me you were on the air.
It's 7 o'clock on Tuesday night.
What do you do on Tuesday?
Talk wrestling. The show I've been doing since you've been alive.
No, that's Mondays.
No, Mondays is Dad's.
No, it's Fridays.
No, it's not anymore. I'm on the air for No DQ, and that's my channel. Can you?
Oh.
Thank you, Bubba.
Okay.
What do you need? Since you're here, what do you need?
When you're done, you want to help me do today?
Are you for real?
Yeah.
You couldn't have texted me that, Uncle P?
No, because I didn't want to be rude, because I didn't know if you're on the
You
air.
didn't want to be rude, so you opened the door instead of texting. Because that's much less rude.
Because I didn't know you were on the air, so I didn't want to text you if you were. I want to just come in
This
and see.
This is why Colin gets mad at me, because I don't want to yell and scream at him on the air.
Whatever. I know you're on the air. I'm sorry. Bye, viewers. Bye-bye. Have fun with this Yahoo.
Jesus Christ. He's 14, folks. What do you want to do, right? Just Dylan Meacham is a wonderful kid. I agree wholeheartedly. He's my boy. I love my boy. No interference, no run-ins allowed. Anyway, you don't hear anything about Vincent J, Ken, because anything that was bad about Vincent J has been pushed down by Vincent K and the partners, Gorilla and Arnold Scoland and Pat Patterson and Jerry Briscoe and everybody, because they wanted to keep the and again, that's what I've been told. Don't think for 1 minute that Vincent J wasn't as savvy a businessman as his son has been. Again, creative differences are what they are, but business-wise, Vince is still the man. Has been the man. Anyway, kind of get thrown off course there, as I do. We're on live TV. What do you want to do? What do you want to do with it? I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I do try, and it's hard. I was telling the guys earlier before we did the predictions. It's very much like anybody that's taken over the CEO of Disney. It's like, I'm just phoning for the boss today. I'm not Walt Disney, and I'm no Aaron Rift. I am just Jeff Meacham. I'm just been the guy who's been fortunate to get a opportunity to work with Aaron Rift the last 15 years on this show, 20 overall. So I am very fortunate. I also mentioned, before we went on the air, that Aaron and I have both been very lucky that we haven't had a whole lot of major familial loss like this, other than Aaron's dad passing away back in a few years ago. That was hard. That was very hard, actually. But we've been lucky we haven't had to take a whole big. Anyway. Sorry. Thank you, Josh. I appreciate that. So, Ken, yes, and let's see. And again, that's what we've been told by other people, Josh, about Vince selling, Vince Senior selling. But Vincent K even says that, on some level, he thinks his father knew that about where he wanted to go, and there was no stopping the WWF once Vincent K started recruiting Hogan, and getting Piper and Valentine, all these guys over from the NWA and the AWA, and yeah, there was a lot of bitterness with the Gagnes and the Crockett's and everything. But hey, Jim Crockett's got an event on Sunday. It's not Jim's not alive anymore, unfortunately, but there is still that thing. So anyway, I'm the 24/7 champ. I don't want to be that champion. I'm perfectly happy just being me. I don't work 24/7. I do sleep, just contrary to popular belief and the rhetoric out there. I do sleep, so it happens. I actually think Vince's uncredited hush payments on record will be that. You know what? That is a very, very distinct possibility. I need a phone charger for this thing. It's going to die before I go off the air here. We will find that momentarily. I'll run a commercial to find that shit. Anyway, I have been saying that since the whole Wall Street Journal thing came out back in June, Caleb, that they couldn't get Al Capone on any of these charges as far as the gang stuff, but tax evasion, up the river he went, man. Up he went. He was done for. So yeah, it could happen. It could very well be the thing that does Vince McMahon in is this hush money stuff. And we had all said, when the news first broke, that if it came out that it was company funds redirected to take care of this, that Vince would not be the only domino to fall. And we'll have Shane, talk about it more on Open Mic Night Saturday night after SummerSlam. But this could very well mean that this CEO gig Stephanie has and Nick Khan has is very tenuous at best, if rumors are to be believed. Ken says, did you hear that Vince Sr. is no fan of Hulk? Well, he did release Hogan. Okay, so here's how that went down. And again, you can kind of, give me shit for kissing the Hulk Hogan ass. That's your prerogative, y'all. Hogan, I think, even in 1980-81, knew that there would be more to the wrestling business than the in-ring stuff and the promos and whatever. There was life beyond. And, Sylvester Stallone and MGM gave him an opportunity to play a minor character, yes, but in Rocky III. And Vince Sr. I hate Senior because they're not the same name. I know they say it and it's common, but I detest that because my dad's name is Frank and my grandpa's name was Frank, but they weren't Senior Junior because it was Frank Albert and Frank Douglas. So Vincent J. was getting ready to book Hogan into the Crockett territory, and him taking the movie role with Sylvester Stallone went against the plans. That's why he was dismissed from WWF. The WWF. It was already 2 letters by then, 2 W's by then. So it's just one of those things where, the telephone to the wrestler, the telephone gets filtered through. He was released because he didn't want to do the booking that he, was given by the promoter. He was going to do something else. And he said, well, if you do this, you're walking. He said, okay, I'm walking. That's really what it came down to, a matter of a business decision. I don't think it was Vincent J. McMahon disliking Terry Bollea. It was just a matter of he wanted him to do business and Terry Bollea wanted to do the movie. And, if Vincent J. truly didn't like Terry Bollea, I don't think, and honestly, had Terry Bollea not gone to the AWA and got Hulkamania's, bubbling on the surface there in Minnesota, I don't think Vincent K. would have brought him back. So, yeah, it's a little bit of a different dialogue than what was actually put out there. Let's see. I hate that part of me is actually about to agree with something Cheeto said. Forgive me, Virtue. But it really does seem like someone from the board leaked it, and my money is on Nick Khan right now. There is no disagreement for me on that one, Josh. It's very highly likely in all likelihood, as the boss would say. All right? There you go. I'm kind of annoyed that Triple H gets to sit in Vince's... He's not calling... Well, okay. He's sitting in Vince's chair at Gorilla. Creative. How about that? But it's not anything to do with the business side. And no, Ken, this is 100% wrong. I need to dispel that right now. I'm going to go ahead and... Okay, so I'm so glad I get to do this. I'm so glad I have this platform. Thank you again, Aaron, for the last 20 years and 15 on this show. Jesse left the WWF in 1990, not when Predator was made. He was promoting Predator all throughout his WWF run. What happened with Jesse was a couple things. He made a deal, and again, I have to. You know what? I'm gonna not be a dick and actually read this because I have all the stuff saved for shit like this. Just give me 1 second here. I purposely take notes and keep them filed away for this very reason because I hate when people just, and again, Ken, it's not you, it's not a shot at you, so please don't take it like it is, but this something just gets thrown out there and just assume that it's all truthful. All right, so let's see here. All right, so here's as far as Jesse leaving. In 1987, while negotiating his contract as a commentator, Ventura waived his rights to royalties on videotape sales when he was falsely told that only the featured performers received royalties. However, in 1991, when he discovered that other non-featured performers received royalties, Ventura brought an action for fraud, misappropriation of publicity rights, and quantum. I can never pronounce this damn word right. Basically, what he has earned in Minnesota State Court against Titan Sport, asking for $2 million in royalties based on a fair market value share. Titan moved the case to federal court, and Ventura won over $800,000. jury verdict on the last claim. He also was awarded $8,000 in back pay, over $8,000 in back pay for all non-WWE merchandise featuring his likeness and voice. It was affirmed on appeal in the case. 60 is an important result on the law of restitution. So that's why. Hi, saw I can't see your name. I'm sorry. Anyway, so basically, he left because of that. He also left. Okay, so that was the lawsuit 91. He left. I'm just trying to think of my notes here. Basically, the WWF used his image for promoting a Sega product, even though. Okay, so here, WWF had their game on Nintendo back in the 80s. The original, whatever the WWF game was called in the 80s. Forgive me for not knowing that information off the top of my head. But Jesse was going to be on a Sega release game. Yeah, there you go. Video game. Thank you. And because Jesse was on a promoting the Sega product, they released it. That was in August 90. So that was right before SummerSlam 90 is when that happened. Because that ended up being, who's on call? Piper did commentary with Vince for SummerSlam. That's why it wasn't Gorilla and Jesse. So yeah, Jesse did in fact leave, but it wasn't because of what was said. And also, he got furious over the whole union thing. Let's not forget that, because he had been pushing for years for there to be a labor union, and it got back to him that Hogan told Vince about trying to get a labor union together, and it just Vince squashed it. Jesse never forgave Hulk for that. Don't know if they have at this point, but at this point, as far as I know, it hadn't. Caleb says, how ironic would it be if Tony Khan came out on TNT simulcast? Dude, guys, I love the haha of that, but it's not going to happen. I almost never say never, but again, I'll send it about Vince retiring. So again, I could be full of shit here anyway. I can't see a world where another wrestling company would buy the WWE properties. I think it'll be like we talked about Disney or somebody outside of wrestling. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it stays the way it is. Again, as much as people dislike the creative direction the company has taken in the PG era, as much as people, unnecessarily dislike Vince, even though they never met the man, I'm still a fan. I don't like a lot of the creative stuff, and I'm not necessarily fond of some of the seedier sides of wrestling, especially having, dealt with some independent people who are, less than ideal personalities their own selves. But I am a WWE fan. I've been a WWE fan since was the WWF. Since 1990, October 1990, when I sat down and watched Superstars. That was it for me. I've been a fan ever since. And I hate to think of a world where that company will completely change its identity. And, they did it. No, they didn't. It was still a wrestling show that featured entertainment aspects. Ken, I disagree with this. I'll tell you that right now, because Disney has properties like Touchstone Pictures who make non-Disney stuff. There's a lot of where's that DVD? I just found it recently and brought it home. The hell did I put it? Okay, I don't know where it is right now, but Pretty Woman, the movie that is about a fairy tale about a prostitute in Hollywood who falls in love with a businessman from out of town after giving him a tour of giving him a ride, helping him drive his car back to his hotel and being his employee for a week. Not a Disney sounding movie, but made by a Disney company and Touchstone Pictures. So just because the name Disney doesn't sound like it would work with the WWE or the Attitude Era WWF or whatever, doesn't mean the overall umbrellas of both don't mix like peanut butter and jelly, brother. Just keep that in mind. Let's see. Accurate statement. 100% accurate, Josh. There you go. Although, to be fair to Matt Cardona and Mike Mizanin and Vince McMahon, my hair was already going anyway. The beard was nasty in 2016, but my hair was already going. Aaron's, though, Aaron had a beautiful head of hair. He did. The beard I could have done without, honestly, but the hair was lush and pretty, and then it wasn't. Thanks to freaking Vince and Matt Cardona. Anyway, Josh, as long as board members are loyal to Stephanie and Hunter, exactly. That's the key right there. As long as the board is loyal to anybody currently in power, then they have nothing to worry about. Actually friends with Craig, WWE current wrestlers? God, I don't think any active people right now. No, nobody active. Titan Towers is still not bulldozed yet. They haven't. I think they sold the building. They just haven't moved yet. They're still in the old HQ. They're still where they've been. Scale of 1 to 10. How much do I enjoy watching the babies? I mean, I cover it for work, so it's kind of like, you know, I still enjoy watching the show, even though it's not the best it's ever been. I try very hard to correct or, you know, dispel rhetoric or gaga that's been put out, because I feel like the reputation of the dirt sheets and the internet folks is so shitty because we just throw everything out there like a freaking Dave Meltzer, who makes shit up and it's just taken as fact. And it bothers me that we all have been painted with the same brush. So I try very hard to, as Bruce says, put a new fresh coat of paint, or paint of coat, as he says, on how we are looked at, right? So now that Triple H has what he's wanted forever, but has lost 80% of his crew he wanted to bring up with him, do you see him, 1, bringing them back, or 2, getting new people, or 3, both? I would say a combination of the 2 would be my guess, Josh. No, actually, when Hogan was the leader of the NWO, I was very much a WCW guy. So there you go. Past wrestlers, yeah, I mean, tight's a relative term, Greg, but I consider myself friendly with Rob Van Dam, with Sean Waltman, a few people in AEW. Yeah, I remember the face palm of the week. We actually did that during Talk Wrestling's anniversary show. We did that a couple weeks ago. Anyway, I agree. We're doing okay, DVD Freak. It's been kind of a long day here at the office. Anyway, so back to Vince. I really wanted to just kind of again state that whatever really went down with this whole, hush money, and again, it's being reported in actual legitimate responsible sources, the Wall Street Journal and the SEC and things like that. So I don't have a problem believing that it's happening, but from a fancy point, it's like, oh, I can't believe this is a real deal. Oh my God, it's crazy. So we'll see. But I'll go ahead and do this. In the chat room, I'll get to your chat in a super chat in a second, Dwayne. Thank you again, buddy. I appreciate that. What's your guys's, and be a little classy, have a little courtesy. What is your guys's favorite positive? You know what? Even if it is negative, just keep it classy. Keep it respectful. Don't be disrespectful about it. Your favorite Vince McMahon memory. And I'll read the super chat here, and then we'll do a quick little plug, and then I'll find my tripod cord, and then we'll sit back down and finish this crazy thing. Dwayne with a $5 super chat. Thank you, bud. He says, what up, homie? Sorry I missed the prediction show. I'll catch it later. No worries on that. What's your prediction on the first change Triple H will make? Heyman on creative. I think Paul Heyman on creative is almost a guarantee at this point. Paul, I said this during the prediction show earlier. Paul looked visibly conflicted during yes, sir. I did ask favorite Vince moment. Paul looked conflicted when Roman was kind of taking Vince over the coals last night. So I think Paul Heyman definitely sees it being a thing. I did. And again, I don't necessarily applaud Paul London for the timing, because I think that's kind of shitty, to be honest with you. But yeah, it really sucks. And Ashley was another friend that I lost. Somebody asked about the past, Joni, and to a lesser extent, Daphne, China Joni for the videos. Very close to Joni for a short period of time, and through her I became friendly with Sean Waltman. So let's see here. I said I was going to do a commercial when I get the Vince moment, so I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. This is what is going to come up on Thursday, for those of you guys that have not been aware of what we're doing this week, but because of what is coming up this weekend, that's not what I want. Oh, yeah, it is. I hope. That's the right one. Hang on. I got to find the right video here. Give me one. I think it's over. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Sorry, my name went away there. Yeah. Okay. Here it is. This is what's coming up on Thursday's show, and then we'll get to your Vince memories. My mic still working. I had to plug in my phone. I couldn't find a longer cord than the one that goes to the computer. Anyway, Thursday, Horsemen. We're talking about the 4 Horsemen and the definitive ranking of every incarnation of the group. I'm so excited about that show. Cannot wait. Very, very happy about that. All right, so let's get back to your memories, questions, all that jazz. Let's see, comments. There we go. Ken says, oh gosh, so too easy to say his moment of being, which moment being humiliated by Austin? Quite a few there. Psycho says, I'll be honest, I've been a fan of do-rag ECW champion. It's God, terrible. I felt bad for the ECW guys, but man, you know what? I did too. And again, being buddies with Rob was difficult for that, because I mean that was his whole brainchild, was bringing ECW back. And Vince just, I believe Rob when he said it. So yeah, Vince just shit all over that. That was terrible. But it was still funny to see him at the do-rag. That was pretty good. Dwayne with the super chat. Thank you, Dwayne. I appreciate that. Yeah, if you do that for the Vince moment. But Hornswoggle is Vince's legitimate son, and Triple H's promo afterwards on Smack. That was great. Great stuff. So funny. Josh's favorite moment was Brett kicking Vince's butt at WrestleMania. Honestly, the 2 people who we need to hear from concerning all this is Undertaker and Brett. Doubtful on the first, but it would be most impactful. I don't think we're ever going to see Undertaker talk about this. I don't think it'll ever be a thing. It's not going to be a thing. Brett, maybe. Brett is definitely Brett first, and we'll see what happens there. Joey says, I like Taker and Kane breaking this. Okay. And no, it wasn't real. What that led to actually was the bedpan incident in the hospital with Mankind coming in with the clown and the Mr. Sacco's debut, and then Austin as disguised as doctor raking raking a bedpan over Vince's head. Oh yeah, so he deserved it for flipping him off. No doubt about it. That was a shitty thing to do. I wouldn't say he arguably killed the character. I would say you have to remember Vince McMahon was ready to legitimately kill the character off. The limo explosion. That was done by design. And I think they would have continued with that had the Benoit tragedy not went down. It would have been interesting to see where that went. And again, without the Benoit stuff, I don't come back to work at No DQ in 2007, at least not for that reason. So would have been an interesting thing to see. Let's see here. I once went back to watch the Hogan McMahon match WrestleMania and was taken aback on how well, that match did come off very, very well. I was surprised at how much I enjoyed that match, even with Roddy and the awkwardness of his run in. It was one of the better parts of the night, and that was actually a really good WrestleMania. We were supposed to go to that. Team No DQ, Aaron and our co-host and I were supposed to go to that, and we just never went, and it was a bummer. That sucked. Or what Vince's promo, then Austin, Rock, and Taker coming into that was good. That was fun. Ken said, what about Vince taking his own Kiss My... Yeah. Okay. So the one I like, I don't know if you're referring to the one at WrestleMania against Shawn, even though Shane took it, was when Rikishi literally almost shoved Vince's entire head up Rikishi's butt on the SmackDown prior to Vengeance 2001. This was after, of course, Regal joined the club. JR forcibly joined the club against his will. They tried to make Austin do it, didn't happen. But Trish was almost made to do it, didn't happen. And then ultimately, The Rock said it was closed. The club was closed, and then didn't work out that way. So, yeah. Besides the McAfee match, Vince has honestly had fun Mania matches. Yes, his Brett one wasn't good, but that wasn't the point. It was what it needed to be and was supposed to be. End of character round 2. That's true. It was. People have said for years that the whole authority figure character storyline, whatever you want to call it, has definitely been played out. I truthfully believe that it really started to die a agonizingly slow death once Vince and Bischoff, I'll even give Bischoff that credit there, both were no longer the on-air authority characters, because I feel those two were the best heel. Now, Triple H and Stephanie as the authority, I think was good, but it wasn't great. I'm talking 2013, not the 99. Man Hell's the Era was fun. And that was part of the Attitude Era, so it was double fun, right? Okay, anyway, I appreciate that. My favorite, for the record, Vince memory is, and again, this is going to sound really corny and cheesy and mushy, but oh, there you go, the quad moment. Good grief. That was good. Good stuff. Funny, unfortunate for him, but funny. My favorite memory is actually taking Dylan's mom out to Hollywood for his Walk of Fame ceremony in 2008, and Dylan's mom was very pregnant at this point. But I got to meet Mr. McMahon. I got to meet Linda. I got to meet Shane. Got to meet Triple H. Got to meet Dave Marquez. Championship Wrestling, excuse me. Got to meet my buddy Mike Rain, I think, for the first time that day, or not the first time, but one of the first times. Just a cool moment. JJ says, what about when Cena came in and freestyled for Vince and Steph going into their match? I thought the conversation with the promo that John cut on Vince with Sable standing next to him was hysterical. Was that the same promo that led to Cena smacking Steph on the ass, because that was funnier than hell. That was great stuff. Linda McMahon, up until this whole political controversy the last month or so, classy as, and again, it's different because I wasn't meeting the politician. I was meeting Mrs. McMahon at her husband's thing. She went out of her way to make sure that Dylan's mom was comfortable out in that damn California sun with the heat being down on us. She was very sweet, and I really appreciated that, and I still do to this day, for the record, and I always will. But it's just one of those, again, politics are a mucker flutter. They really are. I was not there at SummerSlam 2009 when JJ met Vince McMahon with the security guard thing. So what, Dwayne, I'll get your super chat. Thank you. What happened with this was, JJ can tell a story better than I can, but basically JJ and the group he was with was out in front of Staples Center, LA Live, on the street there. Chick Hearn Court. Thank you, folks. And Mr. McMahon was out there doing the kind of like the inspection before everything opened up, and they were trying to get his attention, the group was, and the infamous Staples Center red jackets. Oh, he's too busy. He doesn't have time for all this. And Vince's PR alerts went, and he dashed over there and, hi, how you doing? Shook hands, took a picture with JJ, took a picture with almost everybody that was there, from what I understand. So, yeah, Vince is not a dummy. He knows his shit when it comes to getting himself in a PR moment. This is a $5 super chat. Thank you again, Dwayne. And we'll go and wrap it up with this. Which Vince match was more brutal? Him versus Austin at Valentine's Day Massacre, or him versus Taker Survivor Series? I would say Undertaker, because he got laid open hard way. I mean, Undertaker punched him in the head and he immediately opened up. It was just bad from the get. The match with Austin, if I remember right, he broke his tailbone falling off the top of the cage through the announce table, which is not exactly a pleasant thing either. But man, I mean, Taker just laid that big soup bone upside Vince's head, and it just exploded all over his face. It was bad. And Hogan versus McMahon was brutal too. They beat the shit out of each other in Seattle. That was a crazy moment. All right. So for the record, the next time everybody will see me on the air, let me do the Aaron plugs first here. Let me make sure I do that because I'm on Aaron. I'm sure I get Aaron's plug in too. Aaron will be back tomorrow for Dynamite review. He took the day off, and honestly, rightfully so. He'll be back for his review of Dynamite, of course. We'll see a SmackDown review on Friday. And then actually Aaron is allowing me, God bless him, I appreciate that, to did I put it in here? I did. Okay. Oh, it is over here. Okay, well, there you go. Cool. I can do that. Okay. Anyway, so we will have that from Aaron the rest of this week. He's also going to allow me to do my Sunday stream on NoDQ.com. We'll get to that here momentarily. Of course, tomorrow on the Greg Cherry brand, we will have the Greg Cherry Show coming up 74 Pacific. That's after JJ continues his final week of Disney reviews with the Tigger movie. That's both tomorrow. And then, of course, Aaron's recap of Dynamite following the broadcast on TBS. Thursday night, we will have, it's not in here. I forgot. Damn it. Let me see where it is. There it is. The No DQ review coming up on Thursday night, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. It'll be simulcast on the WWE Network as well. And that will feature myself. It'll feature J.J. Williams. It'll feature James Hebert. And, of course, Aaron and Richard will be the point men, if you will. And then immediately after the No DQ review, we will have our J.J. and I's rankings of the all incarnations of the greatest faction in the history of professional wrestling, the Four Horsemen. That is Thursday. Friday, again, JJ will do his very last Disney review as far as during this particular month for 2022 with Extremely Goofy Movie, which he will then follow up the following afternoon, right before SummerSlam, with his movie review of the recent Netflix release, The Gray Man, starring Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans, directed by the Russo brothers. Of course, as I said, SummerSlam coming up Saturday night. J.J. Williams on the commentary, along with our main man, Noah Foster. James Hebert will be there for, as of now, his last WWE Premium Live Event appearance with the Jeff Meacham Network. And then Sunday, JJ will be back with the Warzone, the latest in his collection of DVD purchases or Blu-ray purchases, if you will. Sunday, that'll be a good Sunday. And then Sunday night on the Jeff Meacham Network, on the Custodian Studios, on Simple Man Studios, on the James Heber Studios channel, and on NoDQ.com for the first time, I think, ever done one of the watch-alongs on NoDQ. We will have our exclusive look at Ric Flair's last match and everything that is being offered up by Jim Crockett Promotions, by Impact Wrestling, MLW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, AEW, and yes, in the main event, a WWE contracted talent. This is the first time, including New Japan, because the Pillman show didn't have New Japan stars that I know of. This is the first show that is going to feature at least one contracted talent from every major promotion in the world. AAA is going to be there. New Japan's going to be there. WWE, AEW, Impact, MLW, and Jim Crockett Promotions itself is going to be having their last hurrah. So that's Sunday. Can't wait. Again, check out NoDQ for everything as far as Raw, Dynamite, SmackDown, the NoDQ review, and we'll be back here live next week as we are every Tuesday after NXT with Talk Wrestling, the flagship of the Jeff Meacham Network, and 15 years strong here on NoDQ.com and everywhere else. Again, I can't thank everybody enough for all the support over the years. It's very, very appreciated. And I don't know why the hell that popped up just now. We'll go ahead and make that stop. Thank you all very much. We will see you guys next time here on Talk Wrestling. Have a wonderful rest of your night, and we'll see you tomorrow.